book. Everybody will win. We had a great program. We've learned a lot. This gentleman's going to wow you. Every time I hear him speak, whether it's in front of 200 people or 4,000 people, his message is riveting because it's his message. It's his message. You all have your own message. And each time he speaks, I feel he not only gets better, I get better because I listen to it and I can implement it. So this gentleman hails from Salt Lake City with his beautiful wife, Jody, who's here. You want to obviously meet both of them if you can. He's built an incredible business called Send Out Cards. He's a giver, he's a sharer. And I don't really have to say much more because he's going to explain it. So please welcome to the stage my good friend, my mentor, Mr. Kody Bateman.
Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me good? Should I give you a mic or not? Yes. Okay, some weird noise is going on up here, but here. Okay, great.
This. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Okay. So how y'all doing? So I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, and I guess we talk a little different out there. Like you guys have this super cool accent out here. But I gotta tell you, I don't know what a cod is. What's a cod? Send out cods. What is that? Like Jody, we had cod the other night for dinner, you know, it's this white fish. So every time you guys say that, I'm thinking, we're sending out white fish to people. Okay, well, I've learned by the other speakers, I gotta kind of stay in one spot here so that we don't have that other noise going on. So listen, I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. It's super cool to speak. I've always wondered what it was like to be like a professor. Like this is like a professor, you know, this is cool. It's like in my speeches, I always say, smart people done studies. You know, these professors and smart people do studies. So today I'm the smart person. I'm the professor up here doing this lecture, I guess. So listen, it's an honor though. It's an honor to be here. What you built here, all of you have built together, it's incredible. This whole LAER Realty and all the stuff that you're doing in this community and throughout the world to reach out to other people, to buy and sell homes, to do the things that you do is incredible. Yeah, I have a huge respect, Stacy, for what's been created here. And Jay has become a dear friend, and I learn from these people every single day. We come to events like this to learn from each other. Like Rob White says, you know, we're all connected. We're all human beings. We're all together in a game called life, and we have to do it together. We have to figure out how to exist together. We need to make connections and come together as a people, come together as a human race. And it's very important that we do that. The better we are at doing that, the better you're going to be in your business. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about some things that are in this book, Power of Human Connection. You all received a copy. So the cool thing about giving you a copy is there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. And because I gave you a copy, you get to go home and study it and read it. And there's all kinds of examples in this book about how real estate agents use this. People in insurance, people in the mortgage industry, people in all different types of sales scenarios. 20 plus industries are represented in this book of not only how to send cards, see that? Not only how to send cards and gifts, not only how to stay connected with people, but anything to do with creating relationships in your personal life and your business is found in the book. There's 3 sections to the book. The first section is what relationship marketing is. It's an exploration of what it's all about. Our definition of what relationship marketing is. Stories, case studies, different things, different industries that people do. Many of them you heard today from your panel. Stories like that all over the world taking place in that first section. what relationship marketing is. The second section that's really interesting is how to implement relationship marketing within the traditional sales process. There's a sales process that everybody does. Whatever industry you're in, there is a sales process. There's sales funnels. Bring it down. Okay. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
A little further.
A little bit more.
Yes, sir.
By the way, that's Super Dave Smith, best friend since we're 8 years old. He hangs out with me in all these things. Thank you for interrupting my speech. So that section that kind of talks about that, all kinds of examples in there. There's a wealth of information in there coming from lots of different people. The third section is the most important relationship of all. The third section talks about relationship with self. And that's what I choose to talk to you about today. If you want all that other stuff, guess what? You get to read the book. And all those examples are going to be in there. But today I want to talk to you about relationship with self and why that's so significant and so important. Okay? So I want to start out by how I started this whole thing called Send Out Cards. All right? It's a very important story because it has become our why in why we do what we do. So back in 1989, I graduated from college out in Utah. You say Utahs out here. You say Utah. It's Utah. Utah is where we're from. And I graduated from college out there, and I was offered a job at McCann Erickson, one of the largest advertising agencies in New York City. I'd never lived in a big city or worked in a big city for that matter, but I was offered this job. I was newly married at the time, had a little baby girl, Whitney. She was 18 months old at the time. We accepted this job offer. I went home. We gathered all of our belongings together. We packed them in a U-Haul truck. We had this new car, a new Acura car, and we went to leave. We went to drive all the way across the country, but before we left town, we went over to my mom and dad's house to say bye to the family. So we go and say our goodbyes, and when we went to leave, we go to get in the car, and I looked over. You say "ka" here? Or "car"? Ka. Okay. So is that getting old now? It's getting old. Okay, all right. So you guys cracked it up. Okay, so we go to get in the car. And I look over in a lot adjacent to my parents' home. My older brother, Chris, was over there moving some vehicles around in his lot. At that moment, I had what I call a prompting, a thought, an intuitive thought is how I define the word prompting. I had a prompting that I needed to go over, give my brother a hug, tell him I love him, and say goodbye. That was the prompting. That's how specific it was. But we were in a hurry. We had places to go. People were waiting for us. So we jumped in the car and we drove away. I remember honking and waving at Chris. And I'll never forget the look on his face as he waved back at Jody and I and little baby Whitney. We drove away. We went all the way across the country. We moved into a little apartment in Richfield Park, New Jersey, right across the Hudson River. And we moved into this little place, and we started our new life together back in New Jersey, New York City. And we're there for about 3 months. Things were going really well for us. We were really enjoying our time there. But one night, 3 o'clock in the morning, the phone rings. Jody actually picked up the phone. She handed it to me and said, "Your mom's on the phone." So I get on the phone, and my mother tearfully let me know that my brother Chris had just been killed in an accident. He was 29 years old. So I get this news. Now my brother and I were close. He was a cool older brother, cool guy. Like he was my hero. He was 5 years my senior, and I really looked up to him. I get this news that he's now gone. What do you think I thought of? I ignored a prompting to say bye to my brother Chris, and I never had the chance to do it again. See, here's what's interesting. Now I got the prompting. Now I got it. Now I totally understood why I got that intuitive thought. At the time, I thought it was just a thought. No, I'll talk to him later, no big deal. See, a prompting is something you act on. You don't analyze. Don't analyze a prompting, act on a prompting. When you have a prompting to reach out in kindness to somebody else, you need to act. Don't analyze, act. And I ignored that prompting to say bye to my brother Chris, never had a chance to do it again. So when I got that news in that little apartment that night, I hung the phone up and we sat, and a lot of tears were shed. But I made a promise to my brother Chris that night. The night I got the news, I made a promise to him. I said, listen, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry I ignored this prompting, but I'm going to promise you this. I promise I will do all I can to act on my promptings when they come. If I get a prompting to reach out in kindness to other human beings, I'm going to act. And I'm going to do all I can to help as many people as I can do the same thing. 1989 is when that took place. That's when the dream started in my mind to start something like you see today and send out cards. Send out cards is a mechanism to help people act on their promptings. That's why it was created. So I got to tell you, when you have an experience like that and you use an unusual word, promptings is not a common word, but that's the word I always used. This experience was a prompting that I ignored. So I have been on a 30-year journey since then, really learning what that word means. Really learning what prompting is all about. Now, if you notice on the book here, you'll see this little thing on the front. What does that look like? Is that what it is? It's kind of an infinity sign. Infinity sign is once you start on that trail and you get on there, you never stop. So it's kind of an infinity sign that keeps going. I want you to imagine just for a second, in that infinity sign on that book, what I've learned over the years is there's two kinds of promptings. And on the left side there, just inside the circle, I want you to imagine the first kind of prompting is called the inner prompting, I-N-N-E-R, the inner prompting. And on the right side, let me tell you here this. This is like, we're in Boston, so we're smart people here, right? So on the left side is inner prompting. On the right side, what do you think it is? Outer prompting. See how like intelligent this is? Inner prompting on the left side, outer prompting on the right side. But I've learned that those are two significant types of promptings that will guide us in our life. See, the inner prompting is who you are. The outer prompting is what you do with who you are. The inner prompting is the inner voice that speaks to you, that tells you the genius that's in you. See, there's things in life that only you can do. You have your own unique thumbprint on this life, and there's things that only you can do. There are people at certain times that only you can touch. And the inner prompting is that inner voice that tells you that genius. When you were a child, that inner voice was loud and clear. That inner voice told you who you were. It told you what your genius is. And that inner voice is still in there. See, but the problem is, and Jay alluded to this, we live in a negative world. 87% of everything you take in is negative. By the time you're 5 years old and you enter into kindergarten, you have been beat down already. You've been told no over 60,000 times by the time you're 5 years old. Now, a lot of those no's are necessary, right? You can't touch the hot stove and run into the road with cars going, whatever. But how many of those no's that a little child gets are totally unnecessary? That robs them of their genius, of their dreams. See, we were born into a world like this. 97% of kids that enter kindergarten at age 5 have what they consider a high self-esteem. When they get out of the school system in the 12th grade, that self-esteem drops to about 3% on average. That's a process of negativism that goes into these kids as they grow up. And we've all been through it. We've all experienced it. And I'm here to tell you that it's time to tap back into that inner prompting, the inner voice that tells you who you are. See, because if you want to be successful in anything that you do, it's really, really simple. All you got to do is find the best version of you that's in here and then give it away to people in the world. See, the inner prompting is who you are. Get the best version of you. The outer prompting is what you do with who you are. It's giving yourself away to other people. My mother always instilled, she planted seeds in my mind as a kid growing up. She used to always say to me, Kody, you're a special boy. She would say that all the time. Kody, you're a special boy. And she used to say that. She said, I want you to always remember, son, that you need to find out who you are and then just give yourself away to other people. Seeds planted as I grew up. And I've learned what a powerful statement that is for all of us. Find out who you are and simply give yourself away to people in the world. And that's the key. If you want to brand yourself as a successful real estate agent that's going to serve other people, find out that best version of who you are. In this book, we talk about the fact that your occupation is what you do. Serving people is who you are. Does that make sense? Occupation is what you do, and it's really important because typically your occupation puts you in front of people that you can serve. So you have an occupation that you get really good at, and you learn skills, and you learn different things that serves your customer or client, right? But you want to find the best version of you and give that away to those customers and clients because your occupation gives you the opportunity to put you in front of people. Make sure it's the best version of you that gets out there every single day. I want to share with you, we're going to have a little bit of fun here today. I think I got some stuff here we can have some fun with. I want to talk to you a little bit about, again, that inner voice, the inner prompting that tells you who you are as a person. And I think it's important because what you send out in life is what comes back to you. So you got to find that positivity to be sending out all the time. It's important to get that in there. But it's interesting. What is it that you're sending? We talked a lot here today about sending stuff out, sending cards out to people, right? We talked a lot about that. But I want to ask you a question. What are you sending to yourself? What messages do you send yourself every single day? What kind of messaging goes in here? See, because the stories that you put in your mind become the stories you end up living in your life. It's fact. It's just a fact. It's the way it is. Everything you do starts here first. Whether it's negative or positive, starts here first. So you have control over what you put here. Story in your mind becomes the story of your life. You get to choose that. Now, I want to tell you a quick story about my dog Gus. In fact, Jay mentioned my black lab Gus, our family's black lab Gus, is with us for 13 years. Gus passed away about 5 years ago. But I want to tell you a story about Gus because this story really depicts the power of what you put into your mind. Okay? So we're going to have a little fun with this. Gus, again, is a black lab. Black labs love to fetch. And boy, they love tennis balls. Gus loved tennis ball. He couldn't get enough of a good, brand new, shiny yellow tennis ball. Okay? So I used to come home from work or wherever I was at. I'd come home and we had a porch out in the back. And we had a big basket of tennis balls because that's what we did. We played fetch with Gus. So I grabbed this brand new shiny yellow tennis ball and I just started bouncing the ball. And Gus was out in the backyard somewhere, but he would hear this. And the second he heard this, man, he would come run. He was so excited because he knew the game was about to begin. He'd come running up to what is that back there? Tail wagging. Just excited, super excited because I was going to throw the ball out. Sure enough, I'd throw the tennis ball out. He would run out as fast as he could, and he would grab that ball in his mouth, and he'd come running back to me, so excited. But once he got up to me, he did not want to let the ball go. So I literally have to pry the tennis ball out of his mouth. Once I pried the ball out of his mouth, what's on the ball? Slimy, gucky, blah. Now imagine now, so now I've got the slimy stuff on this tennis ball. It's not so shiny anymore. And I bounce the ball. What do you think's coming off the ball? Just picture in your mind, slow motion. There's all this slobber coming off the ball, right? And like you're just going like this. So there's all this stuff on the ball. It's not as desirable anymore, is it? I'll chuck that ball back out there in the backyard. I'll throw it out where the dirt is, and the ball rolls in the dirt. What happens to the dirt on that ball? It's going to stick to the ball. So now the ball is super dirty. You think Gus cares? Gus doesn't care. He goes running out as fast as he can. He'll get right up to this grimy, gucky, dirty tennis ball. Puts it right in his mouth. He's so excited. He comes running back, and now he's got this ball in his mouth. And guess what? He won't let it go. So I get out a new one. I go over to the little thing. I pull out a brand new shiny yellow tennis ball. He's got the old gucky one in his mouth. I got a brand new one like this. Tail's a wagging. He's looking up at me. He's so excited. Which ball do you think he wants? He wants this one. But he won't drop the one in his mouth. But this, make no mistake, this is the one he wants. But he's not going to drop the ones in his mouth. So here's what happens. So I chuck this new ball out. I throw it out there, and he'll go running out as fast as he can. He gets right up to the new one, and he stops, and he stares at the ball. He's got the old one in his mouth. Looks at me, looks down, looks at me, looks down, won't let go of the old ball, can't pick up the new ball, lays down, game over. For years, we played this game, and that's how it worked. Now, why do I tell you that story? See, I learned when we played this game, it dawned on me one day that this is what we do. And I say we all do it. We get these dirty, grimy, gucky tennis balls in our head. Zig Ziglar calls it stinking thinking. We get the stinking thinking in our head. Things that we can't do. Things we're not good enough for. Whatever. And we put those stories in our mind because 87% of what you're taking is negative. So you put those grimy, gucky tennis balls in your head. And then when new possibilities shows up, LAER Realty Group, new possibilities, new opportunities, a relationship marketing system, a product and service called send out cards. These are just tools. These are new shiny tennis balls that show up. And we chuck them out there. And you go running out there to grab that. So because you want to be successful, like people in this room are successful, and you want to gain that success, and you go running out to capture what they're all telling you. What Stacey Alcorn is saying to you, you want to run out and capture it. You want to believe what she says. You really do. And you think to yourself, if it works for her, it's got to be able to work for me. And you really want to believe it. But you get out there and you go to grasp that new shiny possibility. And sometimes you have old, dirty tennis balls lodged up in your head, stinking thinking, limiting beliefs that block you from picking up the news. Does that make sense? Now, there's only one way I could get Gus to drop the old tennis ball. If I took this new one, and if I threw it over and over and over again, eventually he would drop the old and pick up the new. And that's what you and I can do. We have an opportunity to throw to ourselves the new tennis balls. We do this exercise in the seminars that I do. We call them the I am statements. They're affirmations, but I call them I am statements. Okay? Now, anytime you go to personal development, somewhere along the line, the whole affirmation, goal-setting thing gets into the picture, right? Y'all know what affirmation is? Have y'all written them down before? We call them I am statements. All of those I am statements are. Why do we call them I am statements? See, because the subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real and imagined. So if you start with the words I am before a statement, subconscious will take it in as if it's real. I am financially free. I am a top producing real estate agent. I am great in my relationships. I am meeting the right people to build my legacy. Whatever the I am statement is, you can put that into your mind. Story of your mind becomes the story of your life. Okay? So I want to ask you a question. I want to back up just for a second. So with Gus, I throw this out there. Won't let go of the old. We've already established that a lot of times you and I won't let go of the old limiting beliefs. What are some of your old limiting beliefs? I want you to tell me. What are some limiting beliefs? Just start barking them out. What are some limiting beliefs that you have or that you see others have that's blocking them from succeeding? Stacy, tell me, what's a limiting belief you see people have that you're trying to coach?
I need a national brand.
I need a national brand. If I don't have the national brand today, right now, I cannot succeed. Is that a limiting belief? Is that a grimy tennis ball? Is it going to block you? What are some other limiting beliefs?
I'm not a good test taker.
Not a good what?
Test taker.
Not a good test taker. What else?
Too young.
I'm too young. I'm too old. What else? I'm not outgoing enough. I'm comfortable. Ooh, interesting. I don't want to get out of my comfort zone, right? What else?
Fear.
I'm fearful. I'm afraid. Somebody might say no to me or think that I am a fool. What else? Now, go ahead.
I don't look good enough.
Oh, I don't look good enough. Interesting. By the way, like what the heck am I, like, I need to change that picture. Like, what am I thinking right now? It's like, I don't know. That was thought. That's what I thought when I went in there. I'm like, I don't look good enough. That's what I thought when I saw that. I'm like, dang it, I don't take very good pictures. Limiting beliefs. Now, here's what's interesting. Did y'all feel the energy in the room when we started talking about limiting beliefs? You started telling me what your limiting beliefs are. What happened to the energy in the room? Went way down, didn't it? Isn't that interesting? But yet we live in that kind of a world. We live in that kind of a life. Yeah, sending cards works for Jay, but I don't know if it'll really work for me. I don't know what to say in a card, so I just won't send one. You want to know how to say the right thing in a card? There's only one way for you to know how to say the right thing in a card. There's only one way. Somebody tell me what it is.
From the heart.
Send the card. Send, you can't say, if you say something nice, it's not going to be wrong. It doesn't matter if it's correct. It doesn't matter if the has perfect English or whatever. None of that matters. The only thing matters is that you share some kindness with somebody else. And the best way to know how to send the perfect message in a card is to send a message in a card and keep on doing it over and over and over again. That's the key. What you send out is what comes back to you. Not only what you send to others, but what you send to yourself. Make sure that you send positive I am statements to yourself as to who you are as a person. See, the power of the I am, and Rob, you touched on this. The power of the I am is that you already are. You already are those things you're going to write down. You're already that. See, because the story starts in your mind. Now, you might have a bank account with no money in it. Anybody ever been there? Have you ever had a bank account that had a negative balance? Anybody ever been there? I have a lot. Right? Does it feel good? It doesn't feel good. So what do you have a tendency to say? If you see that balance in your bank account and it's below zero or zero, what goes through your mind? What do you start saying? I am what? I'm broke. I'm broke. Were you broke when you came out of the womb? Were you broke when you were being raised by your family, your parents? Okay? Were you broke when you first started your first job? What changed? How did you get from being broke to not being broke anymore? What did you have to do? You had to work. But more importantly, you had to start putting ideas into your mind that you could actually go do something. So even if the bank account says zero, the last thing you ever want to say is, I am broke. Don't ever say those 3 words again in your life, no matter what. If you don't remember anything that I said today, please remember that. I am broke. Scratch it. Get it out of your vocabulary and never say those 3 words again, ever. What you want to say is, I am financially free. I am living the life of my dreams. I am mentoring myself and others to success. You want to start putting those kind of messages in your mind. See, because you need to tap into the genius that's in you. It's in there. What you have to offer is you. People don't buy your products. They don't buy your services. They buy what? They buy into you. Listen, all due respect to the whole real estate industry, all due respect, love you guys, think you provide incredible service. But, here's the deal. If you don't have the ability to create a genuine relationship with a buyer or a seller, then what's the point of a real estate agent? Now, I want you to think about that. I know you're all going to say, well, you got this loss and you got that, and you have to do this and that. Well, does that mean anything? Nope. No. If you don't have the ability to create genuine human connection with another human being, what is the value of a real estate agent? So, the most powerful thing that you have in your arsenal, by the way, it's no different than any other industry. We're just picking on you today, okay? It's no different in any industry. Unless you have the power to create human connection with other people, then what you're doing really has little meaning. So remember that, and remember when Jay keeps sending you all the cards, just remember that what he's sending out is what comes back to him. And you just want to do that, send out that positivity to people in the world. So I hope you enjoy the book. I hope there's a lot of really good stuff in there. And I really, really do appreciate the opportunity to be here today. I think I ended on time, right? Did I end on time? Yeah. I even ended on time, okay?